Jason Palmer, one of the hosts of The Intelligence, The Economist's daily current affairs podcast. The Economist's award-winning shows make sense of what matters, from our special series on China's president to our weekly podcasts on business, technology, and American politics. Our journalists provide fair, in-depth reporting on the events shaping the world. To get the annual plan for less than $2.50 per month, search for Economist Podcasts Plus to start listening today.
Some Houstonians have been waiting for over a month to have their recycling picked up, and it could take another few weeks. So what is happening at the city's waste department where people are waiting this long, and what can be done to prevent future delays? KHOU consumer investigative reporter Grace White joins me to explain why it's taking so dang long for recycling to be picked up. It's Monday, February 5th, 2023. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Grace, before we talk about recycling, I want to get your opinion on something that is kind of close to recycling. I'm an avid recycler. I love recycling. I will recycle the heck out of everything, okay? But I kind of draw the line at those paper straws. I know this has nothing to do with recycling. What are your thoughts on paper straws?
Oh my goodness, paper straws. They make me think of like kids' birthday parties. I'm sure I have some in my pantry somewhere. But, I've never thought about recycling paper straws. Do people do that?
Or even using them, just in general, right? Like, this is all about helping out Mother Nature and the earth and all that. I love recycling, but I draw the line at paper straws. I can't do it.
Yeah, they do get a little soggy. I think that's happened a few times with birthday parties in our house.
Yeah. It is kind of weird. I carry my own straw around because I know when I go to any restaurant, they're like, paper straws. I'm like, I got my own. I'm good.
Not into that.
All right. So from reading your report, we saw that a neighborhood in the southwest part of town was experiencing big delays on recycling pickup. And some customers, they hadn't gotten their recyclables picked up in over a month. And when they called, they were still told that they had to wait over 2 weeks before the company would come out and pick it up. What is happening here, and what is taking so long?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, when people started to call us, we were like, okay, how long has this delay been going on? We always kind of ask ourselves if people have tried to kind of solve the problem and report it to 311, the city's complaint system, on their own. And in this case, people had, but they just weren't getting a good answer from the city. And like you said, they were told that it would take, a few more weeks to get it all straightened out. And the one woman we talked to said her last pickup for recycling was December the 12th. So before the holidays, her bin is on the curb, completely full. And she's like, I want to recycle. I want Houston to recycle. But this just isn't working. It's sitting on the curb. It's an eyesore. And I have more recycling, and I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know when they're coming. So we did call the city. Hers got picked up the very next day after we called. And that does happen. But we sat down with the director of solid waste, who told us, this is a problem. And this, he says, won't end until the city funds the department and kind of gets a better handle on the funding and the resources.
So is it a funding issue? Is it the dates, the way it all broke down? We also had that freeze. Or is it a combination of everything? Like, why did this happen?
He told us the freeze didn't help, which we all know. It was like, the city kind of shut down for a few days with the cold weather we had. The holidays don't help either. He said, though, because the department has struggled with open positions in the past, but he said they've worked to fill some of those. But he says even if they fill every single open position, they're still going to struggle to keep up with the demands of a growing city.
Wow. So any solutions offered by anybody outside of just hiring? It sounds like even if you hire people, it's not going to be enough. What do you do?
Well, there's been a debate, about how to fund trash and recycling programs. We looked at other cities in Texas, and a lot of cities have a trash and recycling fee. You can debate, if that's something you as a citizen want to pay for, and it would certainly have to go through city council's approval. But other cities, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, even Corpus Christi, have trash and recycling fees, and that's how they fund their programs. And the department's director mentioned that to us as a pointing to other cities and how they're working.
Okay, so with this specific delay, who was responsible in getting this stuff picked up? I know the citizens called 311. You called the city. who was responsible in getting this picked up and getting this all sorted out?
It's the Department of Solid Waste. I mean, trash and recycling services fall on the city of Houston. So as those complaints are coming into 311, they tell us they're looking at the 311 data. They're listening to those calls, and they're going out and responding to people's complaints. But Houston's a big city, and they can't get to everyone fast enough, which is why they said it would take up to 2 more weeks to get everything back to normal and on schedule.
So were they experiencing trash delays as well, or just with the recycle?
So just recycling, you have to keep in mind that trash by law, public health law, has to be picked up. So the city is required by law to pick up trash weekly across the city of Houston. Recycling is extra, right? It's a luxury. And it's a luxury the city of Houston provides every other week pickup for that. So if you're missing one recycling pickup, then you have to wait 2 weeks for your next one, right? Versus trash is serviced weekly. So I think it's really important for people to understand the difference between the two, and that by law, the city of Houston has to collect the trash. Recycling is offered, but it's not as big of a priority.
Shipping can make or break a sale, so optimize how you ship your orders with ShipStation. They make it easy to automate and manage orders no matter how big your business grows. And they might even be able to help reduce shipping and warehouse costs. So optimize and keep up your momentum for growth with ShipStation. Sign up for your free 60-day trial now at ShipStation.com and use the code POD. That's ShipStation.com with the code POD.
There's a big difference between talking and reporting, especially right now with a fire hose worth of news coming your way. You know what helps? Having reporters in the field. I'm Brad Milkey from ABC News, and that's what we've got on ABC's daily podcast, Start Here. Every morning, Start Here takes you across the country and around the world for a quick, smart look at the stories that matter. It's fast, it's straightforward, and sometimes, gasp, news can even be fun. So let's meet up tomorrow morning. Listen to Start Here wherever you get your podcasts.
So even if this program is funded, let's say everything passes, city council's like, yes, we're going to start charging a fee for recycling. Will this solve all the issues? Because again, staffing is going to be an issue. There are going to be delays again, and people are still going to be upset about every little thing. Will this solve anything?
Yeah, the director of solid waste told us he thinks it would. And what's interesting is he was recruited by Mayor Turner from Tampa, Florida, obviously a smaller city compared to Houston, but he says his budget in Tampa, again, a smaller city, was bigger than it is currently in Houston. So he really thinks funding's the issue. But again, it's going to be something that city council has to debate and decide, certainly at a time when, prices for everything seem to be going up. Is this a fee that Houstonians want to pay and feel like is fair? And let's also keep in mind that there are recycling centers across our city where people can get in their car, take their bin themselves, and take the recycling to a neighborhood recycling center that the city operates. So curbside recycling is a luxury.
Yeah, it really is. But let's be honest, there's no way I'm putting all that stuff in my car and taking it to the drop-off area. And it's just like one of those things, we are spoiled, right? And we want them to just come pick it up. And yes, there are delays. Yes, you can work around those delays. Yes, you can work around schedules and stuff. What were the citizens saying about this? Because to me, it just sounds like a bunch of excuses of, okay, look, you were supposed to come pick it up this week. I understand there was a delay. Why not just make up for it the next day?
Yeah, the citizens we talked to definitely want to recycle. They told us they like that Houston has a recycling program. They want the curbside, like you mentioned. Driving it to a neighborhood recycling center in your own car on your own time is, just one more thing to add to your to-do list. So I think people like that Houston has this recycling program, but they certainly want it to work. And again, because it's on a bi-weekly program, if you miss one time, having to wait 2 more weeks to get something picked up is where I think a lot of the frustration comes in.
Speaking of the citizens, have you had a chance to talk to any of the people you reported on about would they be okay paying a small fee monthly or annually to have a more consistent pickup schedule?
Yeah, the people we talked to said they would be in favor of a fee, but keep in mind, these are people who are calling us and who are frustrated. So they're fired up. They're ready to do whatever it takes to get their recycling off the street. So they were in favor of a fee, but I'm sure there are people out there that wouldn't like to pay that fee, and that would be debated at City Hall, and it would have to be something the City Council, again, would just really have to decide. Is it worth it to people? And like you said, would it solve the problem? The director said he thinks it would be part of the solution, but would it be? Only time will tell.
How much is that fee going to be? Let's say roughly $5 a month, $10 a month. What are the numbers that are being thrown out from the people you're talking to?
Yeah, there's no hard proposals right now actually on the table in Houston. It's really just a discussion at this point that hasn't made it yet to City Council. But when we looked at other cities, Dallas, about $38 monthly, monthly. Austin, $55 monthly. And San Antonio, $30. And then I think Corpus Christi was around $16. So less, but it's a smaller city. So, Dallas at almost $40, Austin at $55. I mean, those are some hefty monthly fees. Again, no hard numbers on the table yet in Houston, but, add that up over a year and it's something to consider.
Yeah, almost $500 a year to just recycle or have the luxury of them coming on a more consistent schedule. It's funny, nobody can see my face right now because obviously we're on audio right now, but I just made this face like, what? $500? Come on. But you know what? If you built it into our taxes and they already just take $500 out, you'd be like, okay, that's fine. You're not fighting that, right? But it's just that sticker shock of I'm paying $500 a year for you to come recycle and do the right thing. That sounds kind of absurd.
Yeah. The director told us something interesting. He said, Houston obviously growing, and we've all seen it, right? Neighborhoods where they're tearing down older homes that maybe sat on a big lot, and now they're putting 2 or 3 homes in its place. So that is more bins to stop and pick up, which I thought was a really good visual to just kind of think about as we think about how Houston's growing and how our city services are going to respond to that growth. That now there are more bins that have to be picked up than years ago as they continue to tear down and rebuild older homes across the city.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? There's more bins, but in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking the trash department's figuring this out. Why isn't recycling figuring this out?
Well, it's the same department, so keep that in mind. Solid waste is trash and recycling. But again, if there's a choice, right, which bin to leave on the street, because they're two different trucks, it's not the same truck, they're going to always pick up your trash because it's required by law. But recycling, again, if they only can do one, they're going to do the trash, right? So
absolutely.
Anytime we have a freeze, anytime we have, hurricane, anything happen, there's going to be delays, and expect those delays. The first time you'll see them will be recycling.
Gotcha. What's coming up next reporting-wise for you on this story that we should be watching out for?
We've been told that all the people that have called us, that have called 311, that this is the week that everything is going to get picked up. So we're watching that. And we've already heard from people who have called us and said, hey, Grace, my recycling, it was finally picked up. But it will take all week. But we will be following up with people. And if there are people that still, after this week, have those bins on the curb, we want to hear from you. Because we don't know what's going on unless people call us and tell us. And that's how true stories happen, true journalism works.
How can they contact you?
Grace can help at KHOU.com or 713-521-HELP. We have that dedicated line specific for people to call in with consumer issues, which a lot of times is these city services. When things aren't working and we're paying for them with our tax dollars, we want to know so we can all work together. It truly does take a village.
It really does. And I'm happy to hear that solutions are out there now and you're getting stuff done. It's unfortunate that people have to come to you, right? And the city just doesn't do it, but that's part of it, right? That's part of investigative journalism. That's part of consumer journalism, is that you're getting stuff done. So that's awesome to hear, Grace.
That's why we do what we do.
Grace, thank you so much for joining us and sharing so much about this story. It was a blast talking to you.
Thanks so much.
That was Grace White. You can follow all her investigations with the link in our show notes. So, hey, how's your experience with the city's waste department, or wherever you live and whoever picks up your recycling? Let us know with the contact info in our show notes. That will do it for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new.